Ho ho ho, no Merry Christmas, shouts a fat guy with a large beard who just slid down our chimney with a shotgun in hand. It's Christmas Eve, and the happy family left cookies and milk out for so-called jolly old Saint Nick, who isn't jolly at all. He's more eviler than the Grinch who stole Christmas. Time and time again, his evil matches Satan, and on this Christmas Eve marks the first of many that everyone in the city of Grulsburg realizes that there's nothing jolly about Santa Claus. The story of Santa Claus being evil began on Christmas Eve of the year 2020. Already facing hell, the entire city of Grulsburg has been ready for this brutal year to come to an end, but first they hope that Christmas brings them all joy like it usually does. The clock struck 12 and a happy family is all hogtied before their fireplace as Santa Claus is loading up his large sack with their Christmas gifts. The stench of alcohol spills from off of his breath. His eyes are bloodshot red. He's beyond drunk and beyond pissed with everything going on in his personal life. Anger is fuming his rage as he finishes loading his bag with all the family's Christmas gifts. Thanks for the cell phones, the iPads, and all the electronics that I'll be sure to enjoy, he shouted loudly while he continued loading up his sack. He kept a smile on his face, even as he heard screams from the family he has all tied up. Hush now, will you? He demanded. No one's going to get hurt. I'm just here for the presents. He laughed even more. Well, your poor kids' feelings will be hurt because they won't have any gifts for Christmas. But look on the bright side. I'll have a jolly Christmas thanks to you all. With his bag now fully loaded, Santa headed towards the front door where he spotted a set of keys hanging off of the wall near the front door. He then grabbed a hold of the keys as he turned around to face the family who are all watching him with fright in their eyes. "Oh, that's so sweet," he spoke with surprise. "You really shouldn't have gotten me a brand new car," he said. As he spoke, the man being hogtied looked over at his wife who was in tears. The car of her dreams he had brought her for Christmas. However, because of evil old Saint Nick, she would not be able to enjoy it. She wept in sorrow, knowing that the man of her dreams brought her the car of her dreams, but unfortunately for her, she would not be able to enjoy it. Suddenly, the sound of the front door slamming shut sounded off throughout the house, followed by the sound of her brand new car cranking up. "Ho ho ho," said evil old Saint Nick. "Merry Christmas to me," he shouted as he sped away. But the night was only beginning for evil old Saint Nick as he burglarized several other families who all lived in the rich areas. One after the other, he invaded home after home with a gun in hand and an empty sack in the other. After each home he burglarized, the sack was stuffed with electronics, jewelry, and toys. By the time the sun took over the sky, evil old Saint Nick ended up stealing more than $500,000 worth of toys, jewelry, and electronics. He turned Christmas upside down and made it a living hell for dozens of people. The cops were in disbelief that Christmas morning, and so were everyone else in town. No one could believe that anyone would dare dress up as Santa Claus and rob people. What was already an horrendous year to begin with ended up ending even worse for those families that evil old Saint Nick robbed. Fast forward a year, and the entire city of Grulsburg was on full alert about evil old Saint Nick, who was talked about ever since his brazen robberies last Christmas. Gun sales have gone up within the past year as everyone is fully aware that evil old Saint Nick may strike again. Police presence have beefed up so much so that they believe only a fool would dare attempt any robberies anywhere on this Christmas night. The clock has just struck midnight and no phone calls have been made to the police department, which is a sense of relief to all the officers currently on duty. But all the while, officers weren't receiving any distress calls from any 911 operators. Evil old Saint Nick had invaded the Grulsburg Police Department, where he entered carrying an assault rifle with a 100-round drum. Death is in his eyes as he aims his gun at the young female officer who's just trembling. She's in fear for her life. She's shocked as evil old Saint Nick orders her and the other officers to toss their guns onto the floor or else he'll unload his gun. They obey his order. Now handcuff yourselves to your desks, he demanded, which they all complied. Tell your fellow officers I'll be back next year and the year after that on Christmas Day doing what I do best, and that's stealing Christmas away from everyone. He spoke with a calmness that no one understood. He just disarmed a dozen officers and he's as calm as the coolest person on earth. The officer that he had held up, he ordered her to load up his sack with the other officers' guns that were scattered all over the floor. Once she finished, he made her bring the bag to him. Once she stood before him, he ended up pistol whipping her, knocking her out cold. The only gifts I ever truly cared for were these, he spoke. Now if you all want war, I'll give you the war that you asked for. He grabbed a hold of the bag as he laughed nonstop. Christmas is by far my favorite holiday, he said just before he began firing his gun at the officers, striking several of them fatally. He couldn't help but laugh as he emptied the clip. Merry Christmas and a ho 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 hellish New Year.